This is a walkthrough of the new collection settings in FromThePage. So I'm on one of my collections, Ann Smith Letters here, and if I go to the Settings tab, what you'll see is a whole bunch of different sections. We used to have all of our settings kind of glommed on one page, and it was a mess and hard to find things. So what we've done is we've taken all of those settings and broken them up into these 6 categories on the left. There's actually a 7th that I'll tell you about at the end. So the first one is general, title, the end of your URL. Subject tags we really recommend that you set because they are used for volunteers to find things by topic. We have a controlled vocabulary of subject tags that we try to have at least 3 projects that fit under each category. An image makes it much more attractive to transcribers. A description that kind of talks about the purpose and the material. This one's a bit short. The footer is actually edited in your user profile. That way you can use it across multiple collections. And since I'm actually just a staff member on this project, I don't even have the link to go edit that. But if you are the owner, you'll have a link to go edit that. Task configuration is all about the type of task that your transcribers or your volunteers or your research collaborators are going to do. The first one is the text language. That's mostly used to control whether it's left or right aligned text, but there's some other things that we use it for when we start interpreting transcriptions for export. Transcription type. Our traditional projects are document-based, so letters, diaries, things that you're going to type an entire page of text. But you can also do field-based transcriptions where you set up a form for each document, each page of the document. That can also include spreadsheets, and it can also include text boxes. So if you needed something that's mixed, you can do field-based. You have the option of enabling metadata description for projects. That can be done along with document-based transcription or field-based transcription. So ask someone to transcribe a letter and then ask them to fill out a metadata form about it, or it can be done on its own without any transcription work. Once you check that, you get a form that you have to go build with the types of fields that you're interested in. Enable subject indexing is about kind of how we interpret the transcribed text and whether we look for wiki links to link to indexed subjects. And there's a lot more about that in the project owner documentation. Enable OCR correction just really changes the words that we use on the page, and you have to upload OCR. As we start rolling out more handwritten text recognition and OCR, we'll probably put all that in a new tab on its own and give you a lot more controls over how that's used. Look and feel is the next category. First part is, does the image go on the top or the bottom or the left or the right? That's kind of a default orientation. Transcribers can change it. Whether you want users to be able to download works, that adds a download tab that lets them download the individual documents. How we list works, alphabetically or based on how much work is remaining. We tend to show the documents that have the most work remaining at the top of the list. You can hide your completed works so they don't even show up on the list. Transcribers and volunteers have the option of clicking a button to show all of the works even if they're done. Enabling forums for discussion, and then document sets. This is a way to group subsets of your collection. If you have a private collection, you can have a public document set, which is a subset of documents. People also use this for like categorization. So if you have, a county, every county in Alabama, you can do a document set for each county that has all of the documents related to that county. People also use document sets for kind of workflow work, moving things from one document set to another to indicate where they are in a flow. You can set up metadata. So if you click this upload metadata thing, we give you this template file, which is actually based on your documents and gives you an identifier and the title and the original file that was uploaded, and you can add metadata fields to that and then come back here, browse and upload it, and then you'll have information that shows up on the About tab for every document. And once you have metadata, you can actually set up metadata browsing, so metadata facets here. You can say these are the particular fields that we want to enable as part of the browsing experience. You can enable spell check, which we don't recommend for older documents because the spelling is very irregular, especially if you're doing a faithful to the document transcription. But for some modern documents or people who are trying to modernize spelling, this makes sense. And then there's a speech to text option. The next category is privacy and access. So you can make your collection public or private. If it is private, you'll want to add collaborators, people who are allowed to work on the transcription. You can add additional collection owners who can change these settings, upload new documents, and we'll get the overnight status email that goes out. If you have to, you can block users. Try not to do this unless you absolutely have to. And if you do, we actually love to hear about it because we want to have a positive experience. And we want all transcribers to have a positive experience, but we know that sometimes that doesn't work. If you are writing scripts against our API and your project is private, you have to come here and choose to open your API. Otherwise, the default is it's open and you don't have to think about it. You can also click this button, which will take everything that's 100% complete and restrict it so that only project owners and staff can actually edit it. Okay, next category is help text. This one's really important. This is where you set your transcription conventions, the text that goes on your help tab for your project, and if you're doing subject linking, the subject linking help. We give you defaults for all of these, but you are encouraged to update them to match what your project's goals are, to answer questions that are coming up from your transcribers. This is HTML based, so you can edit it here, but you can also copy and paste this into an HTML editor or work on your own in an HTML editor and then paste it back into here. Quality control is where you can set the type of review. So we have kind of two axes for review and from the page. Transcribers can ask for a review by checking a box, or you can set every page as needing review as soon as it's been edited. So those are kind of the first two, optional or required. And then the second piece of it is if everything is required review, then you can say anyone can review it or only authorized reviewers, which you have to add. It'll be your owners, your staff members, and then anyone else. So you can promote a volunteer to be an authorized reviewer and add them here. If you're the project owner rather than a staff member like I am here, you'll have a next category here that's called Danger Zone. Danger Zone lets you delete your project and lets you blank out any transcriptions. So that's useful if you're running, setting up kind of a classroom exercise that you want to reuse. You can come in and blank it out before the next time you use it. It also lets you make your project inactive so that people can read it but cannot edit it. So that is the new collection settings and from the page.